Straight.
Well, I remember when I was with the Dodgers, you were up and you were a third base because our first baseman was Wes Parker and he retired. And we needed somebody who could catch the ball and could hit the ball, and you were a perfect fit.
Yeah, and didn't have to throw it very much because I had a shoulder separation playing football at Michigan State. And I had a good strong arm, but I never quite was able to get it up and get on top of it. So because of the separation, so had trouble throwing, and in and out of the lineup. Still coming out at 2:30 in the afternoon. All of us young guys would come out early, and Dixie Walker, who was a great Dodger back in the 30s and 40s, was our batting instructor, and constantly work on getting on top of the ball and driving through it. So even though I was a guy without a position going into 73, and Ron Say had come up, and of course Ron turned out to be an excellent third baseman. I played a little outfield, but there was no real demand for a short-armed outfielder, and Walt had me pinch hitting. So the first 3 months of the year, I start to get traction. I'm leading the National League in pinch hitting, and we were struggling against lefties. And on June 23rd of 1973, we faced Cincinnati, and Freddie Norman, who used to drive Walt Olson crazy, kind of pitched like you a little bit, sinker, slider. Great control, always seemed to shut us down. So it's they've got us 1-0 going into the 8th inning. I think we got 2 hits, pitchers up. He says, go up there and get us going. I get a single, and nothing happens of it. We lose 1-0. So you get about 30-40 minutes between games, and I'm sitting there with my little turkey sandwich, and Walt walks by and he stops and he looks at me. He said, "You ever play first?" And I said, "Oh, sure." Well, I played 1 game in Little League and 1 game in AAA. I had a bad hamstring, and and Lasorda said, "We're going to keep you as close as we can to the dugout." So first was it. And he said, "Well, borrow a glove and get out there and play first tonight. I need right-handed hitting. Try not to trip over the bag." I said, "Okay." So first inning, Russell goes in the hole, throws it in the dirt. I dig it out. I think Davey goes towards the bag, throws it up the line in the 3rd inning. I come off the bag and catch it and make the tag. Ended up with 2 doubles, and I think I had about 3 RBIs. And that was the first night of me playing first, obviously, but also of Say and Russell and Lopes and myself, which was the all-time greatest in infield. And so we win, and I'm sitting there in front of my locker. Tommy, those days where you've come back and you worked hard, or you've gotten an opportunity, and everything falls together, and that day happens, and you're proud of yourself for how hard you worked. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, Walt had finished with his little press conference and walked by. And he didn't stop, but I heard, "You're in there tomorrow." And Steve Yeager locker next to me. And I looked at Yeager. I said, "He's talking to you or me?" He said, "I think it's you, Garb." And I started again the next day, got a couple more hits. And that was really the beginning of, the Steve Garvey people know. Having been a defensive back, good footwork, first base became, pretty adaptable. Didn't have to throw the ball as much. And I had this uncanny ability to dig balls out of the dirt. So that next road trip, I kind of solidified first for the rest of the year, ended up batting over 300. And 74 comes along, and I put it all together and win the MVP. So the transition from third to first turned out to be a godsend, but it didn't come without a lot of work and knowing that I had to keep developing my skills defensively as I was improving offensively. And I ended up with 4 Gold Gloves at first. So I always took a lot of pride in the ability to make a difference at first for us too.
our Herkimer diamonds, whether they're in their natural form or calibrated form or jewelry or clusters or in the host rock, we're the source. So we sell a lot of product to a variety of people throughout the world.
Straight.